Look at all these pretty faces, even Katie Reeder. Everybody's showing their face tonight. So, you want to kick us off, Wichita? Okay, like that.
Wichita. She just called me Wichita. Did y'all hear that? Can you hear me? Thumbs up. Yes, good. Okay. Mine is going to be short and sweet because I just have 3 things to talk about. Spanish code. It's good for now through November 30th. So that's Friday. Good from today through Friday at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10:59 CST. It is Embajador. I will put it in the chat. It's always all caps. So that's that. But it's great. It's good through Friday night. 14-day weight loss challenge. The last day you can actually turn your start date in is December 1st. So I think it's Saturday, right? Yeah, should be Saturday. If you haven't started yet and you're a procrastinator, start December 1st. You have to have, the way I read it, you have to have your qualifying pack in hand before you can start, because you need to start on December 1st, so you need to have it in hand. I think if you haven't bought the pack yet, you could probably buy it today and have it Saturday. So that would be a fingers crossed deal, maybe. I mean, like that's like if you were doing good in life, if you were living right, maybe. So if you haven't started yet and you've already got your pack, let's get started. Super Saturday. If you haven't registered yet, register. That's going to be an awesome Super Saturday. I can't remember the exact number of locations that we have, but we have many. Also the live that you can register for also, and get some, if you're going to do the live, gather some people up at your house and do it that way. I think that would be great. We are actually going to go to a location ourselves. I think we're going to go to Dallas. So that's our closest one. So, get some friends, go somewhere, get registered. That's it. That's all I got. It's your turn, Red.
Okay, so first of all, I have a question for you guys. This is rhetorical unless you want to answer it. But the question is, have you used a single Spanish code yet? Hispanic code. Have you given it to anybody yet? Have you tried? And have you ever thought, man, if it was only just $15 to sign up to be an ambassador? Have you ever considered adding $15 to the code and signing up an ambassador for free as a Christmas gift? I'm just tossing out some ideas here for you. If you've ever had anybody say, I wish I could, I can't afford it, whatever, or can't afford the 35, those types of things. It's kind of a trick question for me to ask you if you have, because I can see my back office. So y'all already know that I already know the answer, whether or not you signed anybody up using that code or not, based on whether you've signed anybody up at all or not. Tomorrow, based on that question, because I'm going to ask myself that question. So tomorrow, we're going to head to Oklahoma City, and on the way there, I'm going to spend the whole ride. I'm going to make up a cute little, thank you. I'm going to make up a cute little, I don't know, jingle bell type message to send out to a few people who I've invited to events in the past that I have had the drip system going on since maybe July. And I'm going to say, hey, I just thought you'd want to know about this promotion. I knew you had shown interest in the past, and right now it's only $15, and it's over with tomorrow night, or it will be tomorrow night by the time I'm messaging them. If you use this code, you can actually get your own wholesale account or start your own business, or it depends on how I feel like I need to word it for that person, depending on what their interest was. You'd be able to get your own account. I won't make it too wordy, But that's my plan tomorrow, because you know what's going to happen if I don't? I'm going to look up in a couple weeks or whenever it is that they quit doing these promotions and think, why didn't I do that? Right? Also, I know I'm really going to be thinking that around Super Saturday time. She keeps talking about Super Saturday, doesn't she? Yes, ma'am. Misty?
Just real quick, stupid question. I know that's for anyone, right? Not just for people of the Hispanic descent, right?
Right. I don't know why they're doing that.
I listen to a call, so I don't know if anybody could use those.
Anybody can use it. It's they've been doing it for the past several weeks. They've been giving it out on the call, but they sent out emails, I think, to everyone tonight, even saying, "Hey, we're leaking codes." And yeah, tonight it's to me, if I was going to have to guess, that's the Spanish word for ambassador, but embajador is what it looks like to me. Graciella's going. I'm sure she's going, Lord. I know Graciella has been using that code. I know she has been. Yeah, so that is that what it's the word for? Has to be. Yes. Okay. Also, I can't. What I'm about to speak about is something that was given to me by my regional coach. And so if you're not on my team, everybody's regional coach gave these out, but it may have a different time slot or whatever. I'll have to go back and look at that. But I posted on our team page either yesterday or the day before, I think it was yesterday, a lineup for December for dates for power hours that the company is actually doing, like the regional coaches are doing. Okay, I started to say I think it will be too. I'm going to double check and make sure. If you don't know what I'm talking about, and if you're on my team, it's on the butterfly page. If you're not on my team, if you're under my umbrella in a different way, and you don't know what I'm talking about, I will put it on whatever group that you're on. You'll just have to remind me. Hang on a second. I'm going to pull up so you guys will know which post I'm talking about. On my team page, it starts, our regional coaches will be hosting multiple events in December, a month of no excuses, because there is literally a Zoom on December 3rd, December 4th, December 6th, December 11th, 13th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. I don't think I see 31st. There are Zoom calls where you can log in like we're doing right now, and they're with different leaders in the company giving you great tips. And some of them are going to be power hours. Some of them are going to be belief, strategy, tactics, choosing courage, rocking the holidays with Plexus. Chris and Susie are doing one about fun. Okay. So I would say, this is how I feel about December. I'm just going to put my thoughts out there. You can adopt them as your own, or you can be like, that's not what I agree with. It's not either way, whatever, right? But December is a tricky month to know what you can and can't get away with people. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why a promo code is a great thing during December. It's better than inviting someone to an event in December, because you're offering them something rather than asking for them for their time. You understand? You're saying, look, here's a code. I know you wanted to do this in the past. Save you some money if you want to get started. I will be using the calendar in December to watch these Zooms, because I just think it's a great way to stay plugged in, stay connected. I think if you are a leader on my team, you should be sharing that same I do think the more I've studied the list, I think my regional coach shared it with me, but it's all the regional coaches will be sharing the same list. I wanted to make sure that this is not just something that's going on for my region. It doesn't really make sense that it would be that. So if you want this list of dates, it tells you who the guest speaker is going to be, what the topic is, and what the Zoom ID is on each one of those dates. And that is something that between that in December and another thing that I have up my sleeve. Hang on, I'm sorry. For some reason, my notes are not wanting to open on my phone. Maybe it's because I have about a bazillion things open on my phone. Hang on. Here it goes. So I'm calling that December power hours. They're not all power hours, but they're like sessions with leaders, okay? Also through the month of December, I'm going to be posting every single day. I believe it'll be every single day in December on my team page. Videos from leaders in the company with explanations about what their video is about. December Diamond, a series, basically. They're short. They're going to be like little 5-minute videos that give you good tips for working your business through the holidays or just in general. So that's another thing that's going to be going on in December. I'm trying to figure out in what order to relay the rest of these messages to you. Okay, the Back to the Start group. For those of you who remember that we started that group. Well, the group is up and running, as in it's open. There's not much content in it yet, but starting in December is when I'm going to really start, like at the beginning of December is when I'm going to start trying to add content to it. Hang on, I need to write something down here. I'm going to start adding content to it then. Between now and the 1st of December, which is like right around the corner, which would be Saturday, I need you guys to do a favor for me. I want you to do the very best you can to go take I don't know if non-biased is the word I'm looking for, but a non-biased and critical look at your Facebook profile. Because I want you to try to look at it through the eyes of someone who may not know you very well. I want you to look at your profile picture. I want you to look at your cover photo, your bio, what it says, I want you to look at your likes and dislikes, or not likes and dislikes, the minimal amount of information that you can see about someone by clicking their about. So, like what television shows they watch, their religious affiliations, if they're married, who their family are. Some of that stuff you may not have public, which is fine. But anything that you do have public, I would like for you to go back and look at it. And first of all, if it's in like your television stuff, if you look back through it and you think, God, that's so 10 years ago, or when did I even fill that out? Or is it relevant is the question I want you to ask yourself. Is it relevant that I watched Law and Order every episode? I did. But I'm saying, if it just looks like mumbo jumbo in all of your, and it has no attractive or unattractive appeal, you know what I'm saying? If it's just kind of like mumbo jumbo, consider losing it. Consider streamlining the look. Like right now, I'm going to show you. This is something that I always find either appealing or not appealing about a stranger's or someone I don't know very well, is what their actual profile picture and cover photo look like together. I know that sounds very materialistic, but I want you to look at it like a storefront. Like if you're just walking down a street and you're looking in the storefront, what would your impression be of what they have? And I'm not even talking about what they're selling, but like even if they're nice, or if you'd want to go in and talk to them, Do they look interesting? Now, I'm going to show you, like, here's what mine looks like right now. You can go look at it wait. Well, you're just seeing a reflection, aren't you? Oh, well, that would be because it didn't pull my Facebook up. Here we go. Okay. So mine has all my red hair. And it kind of has a fall look, you see. It says, be the remedy. That's something that's a big, big theme in my life. Be the solution and not the problem. My bio is pretty streamlined. I'm not telling you to use mine as the standard because at any given time, there are lots of people out there who have a way cooler looking one than I do. But I am saying, look at the best that you can possibly do to be your standard as what yours looks like. And then what I want you to do, after you've looked at everything that's biographical information, that's always there, it's always in your about, it's always your profile, it's always your cover photo, whatever. Then I want you to go back through the month of November. First of all, I want you to see how many thumb scrolls it takes to go back through the month of November. Did you post 8 times a day? Did you post once a day? It doesn't matter, but I want you to take account of that in your brain, okay? Like, is that appealing? Did I post too much? Did I post enough? And the quantity, outside the quantity, because we're going back to the start. This is all for the back to the start group, okay? Outside of quantity, whether you posted enough or too much, then I want you to look through your content and go, gosh, I post a lot of recipes. Or I share posts a lot. That's something that I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't see a lot of shared posts on my wall, probably because I have so many friends that Facebook, it's so many people on my Facebook. They're not all my friends, I understand, but I have so many people on my Facebook that Facebook selectively shows me what they want to show me. And I think they show me original content. I don't see very much when people share a recipe or share a YouTube video. If there's something that's clickable in what you're sharing, Facebook probably not going to show it to many people because the possibility that somebody would click it and go somewhere else is much higher. So if you're sharing something that is a YouTube video, a link to a blog, isn't this cute, whatever it is, if it takes you off of Facebook, first of all, no. It's probably cluttering up your page, the look of your profile, and it's probably just not showing to very many people. So if somebody does come to your page and they see a bunch of clickable, I'm just going to be honest with you. Don't get your feelings hurt because I don't know if I'm talking to any of you or not. As I'm looking at your faces, I'm sitting here going, I don't think this applies to any of them, but just in case it does, don't get your feelings hurt. When I go to someone's profile and it's shared post, shared status, and it's from places like sex is fun. Okay. The post might be talking about something like funny that has nothing to do with something sexy. But if the site that they shared it from, if they didn't pay attention, is named something kind of quirky, and I'm using a mild one there because I've seen some that are like man haters, I've seen some really tacky ones that have the F word in it, like F this such and such. And it's it's not the post that says it. It's the business page that shared it. And it's usually not businesses. It's usually like, I don't know, people who try to get a bunch of traffic on just like spam sites. Okay. If it looks spammy, if it looks like, if I go to someone's wall, and scroll and I see a lot of shared posts, it's a turnoff to me. It's almost like all they do, like they don't ever have anything to say. And it actually makes me think they're kind of creepers. Because even if they're not, it makes me think that they are. It makes me think all they do is look around on Facebook and share crap to their wall. And I mean, like even save it on their wall. Like, oh yeah, I want to remember to make this later. And it's like, if they're not sharing stuff, I'm just letting you guys know the impression that it can give. And trolls, yeah. And see, here's the truth. My mom's not my mom always is like, oh, I don't like Facebook. But she spends hours a day. Okay? She says she doesn't like it, but what she means is she doesn't want to share anything on Facebook. Well, it's pretty obvious too. You go and she's got like a recipe, maybe an inspirational quote, but she's not posting any of these. She's sharing the content. And as I'm looking at her page, I'm kind of like, my mom looks like a troll, even though she's not, or looks like a creeper or whatever. You don't want to look like a creeper, and you don't want to look like you're too old for technology. I'm just saying. You want to have a little bit of a with it look. And the best way to do that is to share. And also, I'm not saying to never be sharing your dirty laundry or whatever, but try not to be too trashy. Try to keep it positive, and try to think of it as though you had a storefront, if you would go plaster it in your storefront or not, basically. Because if it's unattractive to hang in a store window, and I'm not saying that you want to be salesy, but I'm saying if you wouldn't plaster it in a storefront window, then in your mind you think, that's probably not good for a healthy image for my business. Yes, oh my gosh, games. When I see, okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. If I see someone has shared a whole bunch of game stuff to rack up points, I think, wow, they are either really bored, probably depressed. I mean, that's just what I think of when I associate people who spend a lot of time playing games online. Now, they might play a lot of games online and have a great fun life and enjoy everything, but if their whole wall looks like that, I'm turned off by it. Y'all, I know I sound very materialistic, and I'm actually like, I don't really go look at people's walls very much. Do you understand this? Like, I have so much to read in my news feed. If I want to read stuff, I look in the news feed, but I want it to be where anybody who is within my umbrella has at least heard me say, go clean up your November news feed. Go make it streamlined. Make it look like a representation of who you are. I watched a video earlier today that will be shared in my Diamonds of December. I don't remember what day, but early in the month, 2nd or 3rd of the month. And I'm not going to steal the whole video, but she was basically talking about pulling up to a Christmas tree farm. And these guys had this old beat up pickup, and which could have its appeal if they had done it right. But it was a beat up, nasty old pickup, and the Christmas trees were all thrown in the back of it. And the guys were dressed all frumpy, and they had had a great location. This was key to it. They had a great location, but everything else about their operation looked very like shady. And she said, just down the road was a place that had lights strung up and had music playing, selling the exact same kind of trees, like literally no difference. And the people were dressed nice and handing out candy canes. And she said, like, they hadn't spent any more money. They had just put more effort forth to look appealing and inviting. And she said, to me, it was all about the branding. I didn't want to get out at the other place and look around. Just didn't want to look around. So I want you to have that idea, especially in the month of December. Do you want to get out and look around? You understand what I'm saying? So, for probably 3 years, I had a very brutal stance on Facebook where I was all like anti-prescription medicine, whatever. You guys know the things that I'm anti, and I was vocal about it. And I did it. At the time. I would still go back and do it the same way, because it was definitely branding myself, but I was aware of how I was branding myself, because I was at that time raising awareness in an area that badly needed it, and I was blazing a trail. Now I have backed off of that because I want it to be warmer and friendlier. I mean, it was awareness that needed to be raised amongst my demographic, and I was kind of taking heat for even other local people that sold Plexus. I was out there saying things that are hard to say to people. And now, I guess now what I'm saying is I wouldn't be doing it right now. Right now in my business, every now and then you'll see me post some things. And I guess what I'm saying is also, don't use me don't use me as the standard. If you see me do something that's abrasive, sometimes I do things that are abrasive that are not intended for branding. They have an intent. Sometimes it is the intent to brainwash off of people. That's actually like something I feel God has called me to. But if you're not a person who feels called into that trailblazing, it's not a fun like, oh, I'm just out with my hedge clippers clipping down some roses. You got to get a chainsaw and be ready to like knock down all the stuff if you want to, because I'm going to tell you what, I saw people try to follow my lead during that, and they were messaging me all the time. I don't know how to answer this question. What do you say when somebody comes back at you? You got to have you have to have a hard candy coating on the outside in order to take that stance. And I felt like that was something I needed to do. So don't use me as your standard. If you follow other Plexus ambassadors who have a warm, inviting Christmas tree farm persona, use those as the standard, I guess is what I'm saying. I would really love to see when we get started in our Back to the Start group, I would love to see everybody starting from a clean November slate. I'm not saying clean up all of November. I'm saying go back and look at November, analyze. This post got a lot of traffic. Was it good or bad traffic? Because sometimes you can get a lot of traffic and it doesn't necessarily mean great things are happening. But, okay, this post got a lot of traffic. Okay, what did I say here? What do you think caught people's attention? Was it the time of day? Was it the topic? Did you tag someone in it? Like, what caused it? And we're going to start sharing this type of information in our Back to the Start group. That's the type of information we're going to share. These are the kind of posts that worked for me. I want you also to think of, and this may require homework on your part, what kind of posts over the last 6 months or even a year brought in the kind of traffic that actually converted someone? Like, did you get a bite on something that even maybe that post might have not have done it, but you know that was the first time they bit, and over time they converted into an ambassador on your team, okay? I actually know in the back of my mind, because every time I sign someone up, that's a checklist thing that I go through in my mind. I think, okay, how do I know this person? What did I say that attracted them? Like, this is kind of stuff that's relevant information, especially if we're going to go back to the start, because I feel like we've gone through 3 years of slinging mud against the wall. I truly feel like the last 3 years have been like haphazard, and I'm blurry. Oh, Graciela, I'm blurry. I don't know. You may want to go out and try to come back in, Graciela. That might help. And so if we're going to start back to the start, and for you, those of you who are new or weren't on the call where we were talking about going back to the start, I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis of what that means. I started doing things a lot different in Plexus when I became a leader, and I kind of was basing that on, I got added to leader pages and saw things that other people were doing and trying, and I started thinking, gosh, I did that wrong. And I changed some of the ways. I started doing things ways differently than how I got successful. And I realized, it's taken me a while to realize that part of what I did when I changed things they were mistakes to change those things. It was mistakes. One of the things I quit doing was ever sharing my link. And now I've shared with you guys, while you should not put your link in a status, you shouldn't put it in the post. Sometimes you should go back to a really busy post that you had, a couple days later and be like, man, that post is still getting hits 2 days later. People are still commenting if it was about Plexus. And then under all those comments, share your link and how simple it is to get started. This is something that's working. It's been working for me. It's been working for a couple other people that I already know are giving me feedback on just that tip alone. So, okay, that's that. Something else someone just said. I want to go back because I remember thinking, yeah, that's something else. Oh, this is a big one. You can set your page. You can go in settings on your Facebook page and make sure that you have to approve when someone tags you in something. If not, Did you know that if I didn't have that set, that you would be able to go for one day, you would be able to scroll through my wall and see 20 posts that I didn't post. I was just tagged in them. Pictures of a bench at a park that were a butterfly. Pictures of where someone's showing me something I should buy. Pictures of, sometimes it might be a picture that I'm in, but I may not want to be tagged in it. I don't mind people seeing the picture, but maybe I don't want it on my wall, because if someone is trying to find information about Plexus based on something I've just said, and they have to scroll through 15 things before they can find anything else that I've said that's relevant, and it's stuff that other people are saying, that's a mess. Go clean that junk off you can untag yourself in other people's posts, and you can set it to where people are not able to tag you without you approving the post. Okay? Am I still blurry, Graziella? Okay, back to my notes. Two more things. The app is almost done. Y'all know the app I'm talking about? Okay, the app that I keep talking about, I talked to the people who are developing it the day before Thanksgiving, and they were supposed to get with me this week. Hopefully it'll be early. Well, maybe it will be this week. And actually, yeah, it could very well still be this week. And let me know how much. They're very close. I don't know exactly how close. This is the first time that I've felt like we're on the verge of getting this app in our hands that we can add our prospects to, and it's going to be probably the greatest follow-up tool we have ever had. That is probably my number one announcement for tonight, because that's something I've been waiting on. And last but not least on the announcement front, I don't have a date yet set for this, but I ordered a bunch of extra fun prizes this year that will be coming in over time. And I'm using these prizes. I'm doing like a double whammy with these prizes. I made a post 2 nights ago talking about these prizes and how if you want to be on, I'm going to do a live, and I'm going to do the live from my guest house mid-December. And I'm probably going to do it with my daughter. We'll probably wear Santa hats. We're going to make it fun. My goal in doing it over there is because I want people to see the Golden Girl Guest House. Okay. That's my goal. And I didn't make any bones about it. I told them, I was like, look, I'm not going to sell anything. It's not for the purpose of, trying to get people to order anything. But on that live, while people are commenting, we'll be asking questions that'll be like silly, like what's your favorite Christmas carol? Do you like a real tree or a fake tree? All just very fun holiday type questions, maybe some Golden Girls type questions. And that night, we're going to be giving away all those prizes. And this is your personal invitation. Most of you are already on that page, so this is not me to try to get you to follow that page. Everybody knows that I have a guest house that's Golden Girl themed. But I would love to invite you guys to be part of that night, because I'd love to be giving away those prizes to some of you guys. So we will be doing it with an actual drawing app or something like that, so it will be fair. I don't want anybody thinking it's any of you or anybody else that participates thinking that it's staged or it's some sort of scam. But we're giving away, I don't have this yet, but we're giving away a Louis Vuitton Yeti. We're going to give away a pair of Ray-Bans. I haven't announced that yet. We're going to give away some, I don't know if I have this kind of pair, but I have several pair of the leather earrings. I don't know if they have the glitter ones or the metallic ones. And some, I have a Shady Pines Retirement Center keychain, like from Golden Girls. I have all kinds of fun things to give away that night. I'm talking about there was some major time and thought put into these prizes, because I wanted it to be something really exciting. This is your personal invitation. I don't think I'll post about it on my team wall, but for those of you who are on the Zoom, I wanted you to know about it. And I will post about it on my own personal wall again, and it will be on the Golden Girl Guest House Facebook page. That's where the live will happen. So that's that. Am I leaving anything out, Jetty? So I'm going to go back to the very beginning of what I said. I'm going to put that code back in your face. I'm going to challenge you guys to challenge yourself to use that code to get one new ambassador before the end of November. How much more fun would it be to end November on a high note like that? To have a new teammate that you can introduce on our team page, get somebody started. I'll have a full calendar for December in the next couple of days that tells everything that's going on in December. We're probably not going to do a one-night launch event because in December they just don't, it's just too busy for people. But we will have all this other stuff going on, the diamonds in December, and the, what was the other? Oh, the December power hours by the coaches. So, okay. I am going to say that one last thing before I start praying. Something that usually doesn't happen to me unless I'm in person with a person happened to me a few minutes ago. My hands got hot, and I'm always hesitant to start talking about this stuff on a Zoom when I don't know who all's on here, but I think I know most of you. Normally that happens when I'm doing healing work with someone, and it usually happens when I'm in person. And I've always associated it with laying on of hands. So like literally, I don't know, like imagine heat transfer. That's all I can think of when it happens, you know, like fire fall on my hands. And usually I ask for it. Sometimes I'll be in someone's presence and not ask for it. One time you guys will probably remember the story when I was at convention and sitting next to someone like who's two or three people down from me. I had no idea she had a boot on her, a boot, like a cast type boot on her leg. And all the way through dinner while we're eating, I didn't see her walk in, so I didn't know she was down on her luck, so to speak. All the way through dinner, my hands got hotter and hotter and hotter. And so I start asking people, because when that happens, it even helps me to transfer it, if that makes sense. I don't know how that works. But like, sometimes it'll get unbearably uncomfortable, and it's almost like, are you going to do it or not? And I'm looking around me going, I don't know who needs it. Like, and so I start asking Trisha sitting next to me, and Trisha's one. I don't know if Trisha's on here, but I don't know if she is, but she's the one that she'd probably be like, girl, you crazy. But I'm like, so is anybody down there in pain? Anybody down there hurting? And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, I don't even want to tell her why I asked that. And I'm looking down, and I finally quit asking. But when we all stand up and I see the girl start to walk off, she's got this boot on her leg. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. This should be interesting, because she's not even a believer. Like, yeah. And so I was like, what happened to your leg? And she starts immediately preaching. She's like, oh, I heard it. And she's like, don't even start. And I thought, uh-oh, what's she think I'm going to say? She's like, don't even start. I'm already on all the ease capsules and all this. And I was like, oh, she don't have any idea where this is going. She has no idea. And I was like, okay. And she says, we start talking about something else to do with all that. And she finally goes, hey, I brought you your favorite bottle of wine. She's a friend of ours. She's like, come, you want to come to the room and get it? And so we go with her to go get it. And like the whole time we're walking, my hands are getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And so I knew she was probably going to be resistant to even the concept. But I'm sure my husband will probably mark this down as one of the wildest things he's ever witnessed. But where's your face, Jetty? I don't see you.
My computer won't. That's why I
okay.
never had to switch.
Oh, yeah.
So you can start.
So, No, I just remember I kept looking at Jetty's face because we get up to their room. It's a husband and wife couple that we know. We get up to their room, we're talking and everything, and I finally just come out and tell her, okay, here's the thing. It's going to happen. Like, I couldn't assure her that she was going to get healed or not, but I was just going to let her know I'm going to lay my hands on her because my hands are on fire. And I break the news to her and tell her that, and we kind of start laughing, and she's like, for real? And I'm like, yeah, put your foot up here. Anyway, apparently she doesn't like people to touch her feet, like big time. Even her husband said, oh, she's not going to let you touch her foot. So she puts her foot up there with a sock on it, and I just sit there and talk to her. Anyway, the long and the short of it is she did get healed, like instantaneously. It didn't happen within the first minute. But when I say instantaneously, this didn't unfold over the next several weeks. And apparently she had been in bad enough shape that she couldn't even get back and forth to the bathroom without putting that boot on. And she was on a scooter. Yeah, she was on a scooter at convention. She couldn't get around. And the next day, I asked her husband the next morning, I'm like, how's she doing? And he sends me a video of her basically running in her flip-flops trying to get to the session. And I'm like, okay, wow. I don't know why I was supposed to share that with you guys tonight, but fire fell on my hands, and I'm not with any of you, but perhaps I have enough faith to believe if somebody on here is needing a healing tonight, and I even have enough faith to believe that it might be emotional, or it might be it might have something to do with something that you don't consider to be a physical healing. I'm just going to put it like that, okay? It might be psychological, emotional, traumatic, trauma. When I think of trauma, I think of like a PTSD type, what we think of like a PTSD type thing. It might have to do, I really feel like it might have to do with a thyroid thing too. Someone might have a thyroid thing going. And I also feel like this is multiple people. Never get on here and have an ordinary Zoom, do we? So here we go. I'm going to pray. We're just going to see where this leads us. I'm going to ask Holy Spirit fire to fall right now in the name of Jesus on anybody who is willing to receive it tonight. I'm going to turn my music on, maybe. I don't know yet when the Golden Girl thing is going to be. I know the only reason I haven't set a date yet is all my stuff hasn't come in yet. And I need all those prizes here. And it should be soon, though, okay? Oh, hot. Y'all be patient with me. I really want this music on, so I may have to turn my Wi-Fi on out here. More, Jesus, more. Okay, I'm going to let it start if it starts when it starts. And if it does, it may startle. It may be really loud. I can't tell how loud it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and start and say, in my When Dreamers Unite group, we're going to be doing a Zoom, another date that I haven't announced yet. We're going to be doing a Zoom in there that's going to be about supernatural healthy weight, like supernatural weight loss or healthy weight if you don't want to lose weight. And also, we're also going to be doing it about your vision boards. So those of you who are wanting to do a vision board again, I'm hoping to announce the date in the next few days. I'm really praying about the date. For some reason, I feel like God's asking me to do it on a Sunday, which seems weird to me. So I'm just making sure I'm hearing that right before I jump in with both feet. All right, maybe I'm not supposed to do this with music tonight, so here we go. Father God, we just come to unite with open hearts and open minds for whatever your plan is, what you're supposed to do with us tonight. God, we are set to receive. God, we just receive your grace and your mercy on our lives. God, we know that you are the true source of grace and mercy. God, I just ask that you would unfold a plan for us over this next month, and even as the new year starts, that you would begin to, inside of our mind, almost like a card catalog, that you would begin to unfold for us. Really, the word that I see is enfold intention in our heart. Like, give us something that as we wake up each morning before we even put our feet on the ground, Lord, that we wake up and the first thing we say is, Lord, what's your intention for me today? Is there something specific I'm supposed to do today? Is there someone I'm supposed to reach out today, Lord? And that we would pause throughout the day. If this is not a habit that you're in, I encourage you to begin to establish, even if you have to force the habit in the beginning, even if you have to set alarms in your phone, kind of like when you're learning how to drink enough water until you get the hang of it, to where you pause throughout the day and you say, Lord, am I walking out in your intent right now? Did you know that if you begin to, I see things symbolically and in like imagery in my mind, but if you begin to charter your day according to what the Lord plans for you that day, that your day has a less likely chance of hijacking you. Okay, let me repeat that, maybe say it a little bit better. If you wake up and say, God, hashtag, what's your intention for me today? And you begin taking steps in that direction, I would give you a really high percentage of a less likelihood, like 95% less likelihood of your day hijacking you. How many times have you woken up in the morning and you begin to walk through your day, and the next thing you're like, oh, at the end of the day, and your day has hijacked you? That doesn't happen to me very often anymore. And the reason I believe that it doesn't is because I changed that one thing. I changed a habit. I changed into a good habit. Like, I didn't really have a bad habit. I just had a lack of any kind of intention in my life. And I begin to wake up every morning and I say, Lord, what's your intention for me? And I pause. You know, I have like certain things that make me think of it. My coffee pot makes me think of it. Letting the dog out makes me think of it. Picking up the remote control makes me think of it. Things that trigger me to say, Lord, what's your intention for me right now? Is there something I need to be doing? Could I be better spending my time right now than whatever I'm doing? And as I walk those things out, the likelihood that my day is going to come, that not my day, but you know what I'm talking about, somebody else's intention. How many times do you let someone else's intention for your day come in and sideswipe you because, hey, you didn't have an intention anyway? Well, I do. I have an intention every single day. I wake up and I'm like, Lord, what's your intention for me today? Intention. I hope I've said this word enough. What is your intention for me today? What's your purpose? What's your plan? If you don't change anything about your life and you change that one thing, that will change your life. God, I thank you for holy revelation in that particular, in that chapter for us. God, that you would give every single person that's on this call a divine revelation about that in their life, that you would do like mental surgery right now. You know, like peel the brain apart and insert a file that says intention. I wake up with intention and my day doesn't get hijacked. I wake up with intention. As I walk out intention, I go to sleep with peace because, hey, is that not what it's about? If you walk your day out and you're intentionally stopping and asking about the Lord's intent every, 3 times an hour, then you go to bed with peace, because guess what? That's where peace comes from, is walking in his divine plan. Mercy. God, let your holy healing frequencies fall tonight, Lord. Those things that are of you, let them fall heavy right now in our presence. Right now, if you have an area of concern, put your hands where the area of concern would be. And let his holy fire fall on you right now in Jesus' name. Let Christ's power flow through you by simply receiving. That's the words he's saying right now. By simply receiving. There doesn't have to be a, oh God, I'm praying right now. I'm accepting your blessing right now. Oh Lord, I'm praying in tongues right now. Oh Lord, I'm doing all the things right now. He's saying by simply receiving. That's not something he's ever said to me before that I remember. But right now, just simply receiving. You didn't earn it anyway. You couldn't earn it if you tried. It has nothing to do with earn. Cancel that out of your mind. It has nothing to do with deserve. It never did. That's the story of the gospel. In fact, the whole Bible is about that right there. You didn't deserve it. You never did. You couldn't if you tried. Isn't that the best news ever? God says just simply receive. Here we go. Here comes my music. God, that every move that we would make would honor you. And then when we make moves that we know don't honor you, that we would stop and say, okay, why do I do that? For those of you who, he's leading me down a different path. Last night when I got in the shower, sometimes water for some reason will trigger, especially if I close my eyes, and sometimes even if I don't, sometimes water will trigger imagery in my brain. And last night I almost got to see a movie in my head, which is usually it's more like flashes of things, but this was a movie almost of, he was showing me a mother who was caught up in rage. And I was seeing her raging at her family, raging at her husband, raging at her kids. And then it's like, he kept showing me this flip-flop back and forth. He would show me that scene, and then he would show me like her crying later, like shame and guilt, like overwhelmed her. And he was like teaching me, he was showing me, he said, tell her, and I didn't know who this was for. I just had to post it on my wall. Tell her that used to be where she used to go to protect herself. She went into that place of rage because she thought that rage was power, because she felt powerless. She felt hopeless. She didn't think that she could lean on anything except for something like rage. And he said, tell her that that's not her defense mechanism. It was only a coping skill. And then this is the part that surprised me, because none of that surprised me. Like, that's something that's kind of familiar. I understand that concept pretty well. Then he told me to tell her, to tell the rage. Thank you for the role you played. I understand you played a role in my life when all I knew was coping mechanisms. I didn't know how to lean on Jesus. But that doesn't, I don't identify with that anymore, and that role doesn't fit me anymore. And basically, to give it an exit strategy, you don't have to hang around anymore, rage. I'm okay. I'm not a little girl having to defend myself. I'm not a wife in a relationship where I have to defend myself anymore. And even if my circumstance hasn't changed, my heart has learned better to lean on Jesus. And so, like, I literally, while I was like, here's the water running, I have to take my phone and I'm typing this out as fast as I can, because the imagery is coming at me so fast. And did you know I had probably more response from that post? And if you decide to go back and look at the post, you may see I don't know how many comments, but I'm talking about private message responses. So many people. Well, okay, take that same concept and I want you to apply it to whatever area. If you take it, you can take the same concept. He's showing me this right now. And you can erase rage if that's not your fill in the blank. If rage is not what you do, but you have an addiction problem. If you have a dependency on something that is not of Jesus. if you have a dependency, a codependent relationship, if you have an addiction, if you are addicted to sugar, if you have, did you know that that is like, oh, this is hard for me to say because it sounds judgy, but God is wanting me to say, did you know that that's idol worship? And that's not from a judging place. He's just saying, you can lay that down and depend on me. You don't have to run to that. Whatever it is. For some of you, it might be gossip or comparison or resentment. Whatever that, and I feel like what he's doing is like, he's like, I want to trade you. For those of you who have really been in my group and in my dreamers group, you know how much I talk about trading the low level stuff for the high level stuff. And I feel like God is wanting to take you from this stuff that manifests yucky stuff in your life. Did you know that that low level stuff manifests like even disease? And he wants to rip that out like a root canal and throw it away. And then he wants to fill you back up with things that are beautiful and of him. And it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. It's a trade. I wish I could make a movie with the images I see in my mind. But it is a choice and it is a trade. Right now, tonight, Lord, if there is an image in someone's mind or a memory that is no longer serving their best purpose, Lord, that you would rip any negative emotion associated with that memory or image all the way, completely, with no residual left, out of their heart and out of their spirit, and that you would throw it away as far as the east is from the west, Lord, and that you would come back in that place. I want you to picture a root canal, and that he would come back in that place and he would fill that spot back in with peace and living water and redemptive flow and beauty. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you have pain in your body somewhere, I want you to picture, especially if you associate that pain with something. I don't know who's on here and I don't know what this means. So if you associate that pain with a time in your life, or you associate that pain with an accident, maybe, I don't know if it's an accident, but, or a time in your life where there was something tragic or traumatic, I want you to visualize the very best you can, a ripping, a pulling of the tragedy, and it being cast far, far away from you. And then a loving, loving Father coming in and just not putting a Band-Aid on it, but completely replacing where that root was with something brand new. This seed of beauty, where something beautiful can manifest. It's a trade. Release. Release. Let the energy from the negative release from you. Even if it helps you to visualize it, breathing it out, breathing in good things. And as you exhale, you're releasing the negative energy, releasing the negative emotion. You can keep your hand on that spot. I'm going to tell you right now, my hands, are still on fire. Lord, that energy, I'm just going to ask, because I don't know what, I'm not ever had this exactly happen like this. God, I'm going to ask that the energy, the heat energy, this Holy Spirit firepower that is in my hands be transferred to anybody out there listening who's willing to receive it. God, I know that this, I literally feel a knee jerk myself in response to me saying something like that, because I know it doesn't seem like it could be real. But if you believe in prayer at all, then grabbing something out of the atmosphere is something you have to learn to believe in. And I'm just telling you right now, God says, reach out there and grab it, claim it as your own. Sometimes you have to do something a little wacky. Doing things normal has really, almost everything I've ever done normal, or almost everything I've ever done to try to fit in, has been a step in the wrong direction for me. I'm not really worried about fitting in. I'm not really worried about people thinking I'm normal anymore. I think that ship has sailed. But I think God is setting up a new standard. I don't think he's concerned with normal, but he's setting up a new standard of where his power is, the belief in where his power is. His power has always been there, but the belief in where his power is. God, we thank you for your heart. We worship you, Lord. We give our hearts over to you. I transfer this hot firepower too onto your intention and onto your emotion, onto your healing and onto your business. That, I mean, some of you are going to feel it. You're going to feel fire on you, even as you sleep tonight. Before I went to bed last night, I'm supposed to tell this. I didn't know if I was supposed to tell this or not. Before I went to bed last night, I've been doing some practicing for this weight Zoom that I'm going to be doing. And I know God is just pressing me more and more outside my comfort zone. Just when I think, gosh, Lord, I'm already at the edge. I can't, what? And he's like, try this now. So before I went to bed last night, I did what I had told you guys about. I did a live video in that group yesterday or the day before where I was talking about having that coughing fit. And the coughing got so extreme one night that I was at the end of my rope. I had literally coughed out so hard that I thought if I don't get a breath in soon, I don't know if this sounds really dramatic, but I don't know if I could just fall over and die. That's how hard I had coughed. My abs hurt. I was sore all over. And once I finally drew a breath in, I was like, Jesus! Like, send an angel! I mean, I was so desperate. And here's the thing. Here's what I feel like God is showing me. I didn't say, please make this coughing a little bit better. Take away a little bit so I can go back to sleep. I was like, make it stop! And I had been coughing every single night, night after night after night, and it was pretty intense. And that was the last time. Not another single night did I get up and cough. I haven't even woken up thinking I was going to cough. Okay, so that's the story I told yesterday. Well, last night I knew, that was kind of setting myself up for it. I knew God was going to be like, how bad you want this train you're fixing to ride? And I'm like, oh, how bad do I want my body to reflect the freedom that I feel in my heart? How bad do I want that? So before I got in bed last night, I'm like, Jesus, send an angel. Send an angel. And I'm being careful all the time now. Ever since I've decided to do this, I'm being careful of the words that I use. Because it's like, do I say, well, I don't even want to say the examples that I've thought of. I'm being very careful with the way I word what I want to see happen and why. Like, what's my heart's intent? Why? Well, I'm going to tell you, all night last night, I was just telling Jetty this before the call, all night last night, I dreamed that there was a vertical from right where your ribs separate down to below my belly button. There was a vertical incision, and it was a rectangle up and down about as wide as my index finger is this way. So it was, it was a big rectangle, and that there was something operating on me. Every time I woke up multiple times, I was sleeping very light. And every time I'd kind of float in and out of consciousness, I was dreaming that there was something operating in a vertical field from my ribs down. And okay, of all the ways I could imagine in my brain how supernatural weight loss would happen, that is not something that I dreamed up in my conscious mind. Now, maybe I was just dreaming it. But when I woke up this morning, like I couldn't get it off my mind, and I'm like, what happened? What happened? And all day long, I'm like, Lord, let Holy Spirit fire fall on whatever your intention is for me, what I'm supposed to learn, what I'm supposed to teach. Lord, I'm okay with seeming weird. So tonight, I'm just going to say, I'm going to step in for you until you're comfortable enough. And maybe you are comfortable enough. You're on mute. I don't know. Maybe you got a house full of people. But whatever your deepest concern is tonight, I'm just going to tell you right now, you're going to want to turn the volume down if you got people listening. Lord, send an angel right now. Not for a little bit, Lord. Not to alleviate the pressure, Lord. Lord, to completely revolutionize and transform the problem. Lord, so that this doesn't even look like a problem, Lord. It looks like a window through which your holy light shines. That people will say, look at the transformation. She is completely transformed. He is completely transformed. And isn't that cool that she doesn't even look like religion? She just looks like love. Any part of me that doesn't look like Lord, that doesn't look like love, Lord, dissect it and remove it. Any part of my heart, any part of my intention, my spirit, my mind, my soul, my will, my emotions, my psyche. I'm tired of keeping it together when I could just be crying out to the Lord. It is way overrated to try to keep it all together in my own power. I've learned too much about the power of the Holy Spirit to try to keep it together in my own power. Lord, let Holy Spirit fire fall on their businesses. Wake them up. Wake up a brand new fire inside of them that is ignited like passion that they have never felt before, that it comes across as intention to have time freedom, to walk in your purpose. Wake up intention inside of them, Lord. The every 15-minute kind, the check back in with you, Lord, kind. The what do you have for me today, Lord, kind. Lord, I want to partner with you today, kind. Lord, that no longer will my days be hijacked. Lord, that no longer will something coming in the mail that's bad news hijack my day, because I already walked in your intentions so deeply and so clearly that it can't even distract me. And that whatever that, like, I'm seeing what looks like a gas gauge. So the ometer inside me is so tilted over toward Holy Spirit that disease can't live inside my body anymore. Have you ever thought about the scriptures where it talks about, that God won't be present with sin, and that certain times when God would not be seen, he couldn't be seen. His spirit couldn't be seen. It was too holy, too powerful. Whatever that is, like, I don't know what a label to put on the whole can of worms that is, but I want all of that so deeply entrenched inside of me that anything that is not lovely and is not noble and I want it to be squirming out of me. Like it doesn't have a place anymore because I'm so filled up with light and goodness. Like it won't feel comfortable anymore to feel resentful. Lord, I don't want to be comfortable in resentment. I don't want to be complacent in unforgiveness and comparison. I choose not to be. It is a choice. And that I want you to keep in mind that stuff that squirms out of you lots of times will take the disease with it when it goes. It's like, don't leave your bags here. You got to go and take your bags. I hope you guys got a really vivid mental picture with that. You can't stay here and you can't leave your baggage. I pray that you have lullaby type sleep tonight. The sweetest, sweetest kind. And that you would have angelic visitation that you would remember. And that you would float through tomorrow with the happiest intention. And that when that happens for you, that tomorrow will be your new standard, not today. And then when tomorrow is so good, that the next day is even better. And then that next day becomes the new standard, because raising the standard is what this is all about. Raising the standard of how you live intention in your life. How you live with intention. I'll lift all of this up in Jesus' name. Amen. I'm going to see if I've missed anything here. Oh. Sorry, just opened my eyes. Someone been hurting in the middle. Hang on. Hurting in the middle back, running through to the stomach. And then maybe. Okay, hang on now. I got to come down here and see if anybody's answered that. Let me read that again. I don't know, she's one of my friends and she has an intercessory healing gift. She's asking, is someone hurting there's a typo or something, but I think she's saying the middle of back running through to the stomach. Or if you were. She's not sure if it's sometimes. Oh, hers has been this way for a while, for a few days. She doesn't know if it's hurt. Sometimes that's one of the fun little tricks that comes along with being in intercessory healing. Sometimes you get something and you don't know if it belongs to you or someone else. That happens to me sometimes, and it hasn't in a while, but in my hip, my knee, and sometimes in my back especially. Sometimes it'll happen in my temples. So if that falls on one of you, or maybe someone who's on the recording, what you would need to do with that information is release it. Because if one of my intercessory healer friends is feeling it, God intends to heal it. And it's a trade, it's a choice. Hot. It's hot. It's hot. Okay. That was pretty intense. Does anybody have any questions? I always worry that I'm scaring people off, but I hope all I'm scaring off is a booga booga. For what kind of thing are you asking about, Becky? Like a weekly reminder or a... I know this may sound a little bit lame. I don't know if this is what you're asking about, so that's why I didn't answer this, but...
It's a Google, if it's on your phone.
Oh, the regional coaching things. Go ahead, babe, what?
If it's the calendar on your phone, you can set alert in it, but you have to manually set it. You have to just scroll down and set it.
He said if it's the calendar on your phone, you can set an alert but you have to scroll down and manually set it. Did I say that right? For me, when you do that, does it alert like a notification, or does it actually make a noise?
You can do make a noise there.
Oh, you can make it do all kinds of stuff, he said. Okay.
All I know, and I'm not real technical, but like on my phone, I don't know if you can see this. Maybe not.
There, I can see it now.
Reminders.
Okay.
See that? So
Yep.
when I set reminders, it doesn't like pop anything up and go ding, 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 ding. Don't forget this.
Oh,
Like it does when I set my alarm clock. Like you had here a while back, you said, you know, we should set a reminder on our phone about the Zoom.
yeah.
The only thing I was able to do is I go to my alarm clock and I have an alarm that recurs at 8:15 every Wednesday night.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not going to forget this Zoom, but I do it anyway.
Becky, you have a calendar app?
I just have the calendar. I have to say first, I have an Android phone.
Okay. Well, I'm not
So-
sure how that is, but like with an iPhone, I actually have a calendar app that I downloaded and put on mine. And when you set whatever event it is, it gives me the option of having a reminder, and it can be 5 minutes, 15 minutes, a half an hour, a day before. There's options. And then you can turn your notifications on for that app for sound so that you actually hear the notification. So go to your Google, what it's called the Play Store, right, for Android, and look for a calendar app, download it to your phone, and then make sure that your notifications for that particular app are turned on. If there isn't already a calendar that came with your phone. My boyfriend's got an Android. He said his has a calendar.
Yeah, I have a calendar on my phone.
Okay, does it let you set events? Does it let you schedule appointments and reminders?
Yeah, like I could schedule an appointment, but it doesn't go ding, 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 you have an appointment.
Okay,
It's on there. And if I don't open the calendar up and look at it,
So
I
that
don't
has to do with how you have it set for that app. So you must have your volume for that app, those notifications turned off or down. What kind of Android do you have, Becky?
Droid,
What
a
is it?
Motorola Droid.
Motorola Droid. Is that the same as yours or no? No. I don't know. He's got something else. What does your app look like? Becky, what does your app look like? Your calendar app. I'm sorry, Lori. I'm just trying to help her.
You're good.
I've hijacked her deal. There's the icon for it right there.
That with the date. Is that yours? Okay,
That's
that's the same app as his. Okay.
Okay.
So how do you turn on the notifications? The sound.
I'm sorry for hijacking, Lori.
Okay.
All right.
When you click on the day, Becky, that you want to put something,
Okay.
like hold the day that you want to, well, click on it, but where's the volume part? I'm sorry. I have an iPhone. Totally different. She knows how to do events. She wants to hear it. She wants to hear the alert. Okay, right there's an alarm bell.
Yeah, if it's the same thing.
Do you see the alarm bell?
If she has the same app.
Okay.
Well,
That's not the you got to open the day. Open the day like you're adding an event to the day. So tap the day. Okay. Oh, it says tap to create. I don't know. That's really close too.